financial warriors. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Malik and welcome to 7 Band Incorporated. Today we're going to go over the wealth pyramid. And this is basically my presentation that I give to folks when we sit down and we talk about planning for financial stability, building that emergency fund, and building that financial base. But I feel it's something that millennials, Gen Zs, Gen Xers, minorities, everybody else needs to know, not just people who are interested in financial freedom, but all of us, especially millennials. The idea behind the wealth pyramid is creating a stable financial base that you can safely grow your money before you start using more risky opportunities. So let's take a look and see what that means. Here we have our wealth pyramid. You can see here down at the bottom, we've got our base, which is made up of our financial safe harbors. As we go up the pyramid, you see it gets conservative, moderate aggressive, then extreme. These basically represents levels of risk that we want to take in our financial lives. And the reason it looks like a pyramid is because the amount of funds that we allocate to each one of these levels is going to get smaller and smaller, okay? See, the solid foundation is a building block that will allow you to maximize your financial stability and take advantage of any future investment opportunities. People often mistakenly equate high risk with high rewards, neglecting the safe building blocks of a solid foundation for riskier ventures. This often leads to financial collapse. And when I talk about financial collapse, this is kind of a demonstration of that. And oftentimes what we see is people will flip the pyramid on its head so that the first instinct is to chase those riskier dollars. So we see the extreme and those moderate and aggressive before they've properly built their base. And what happens is it creates a situation where any type of emergency and financial stability topples over. And this is a recipe for disaster. We don't want to do this. Now let's look back at the pyramid at how it should be. And we'll just go over each section of this so that you can understand why I've created it the way I did. So the base, when we're talking about safe, the base consists of stable sources of income and safety from catastrophic events. And these things combined can provide stability and financial protection. What I always recommend is try to secure as many of these as possible before moving up the pyramid for maximum financial security. Shelter. Whether you own, rent, or lease, reliable shelter is critical to your financial stability. Without a safe place to live, you risk employment, asset loss, stress, fatigue, mental, and physical health. All of those things are risk if we don't have stable shelter. So that's definitely a part of our base of financial stability. Savings. Ideally, you want to have 3 to 6 months of emergency savings. And those savings need to be easily accessible in case of any emergency. This includes a bit of cash for funding something that's an immediate need just in case banks are closed or just in excess. $3,000 to $5,000 in a checking or savings account. This is for situations that might require access to funds within 24 to 48 hours. And then the remaining emergency funds should be in highly liquid interest-bearing accounts that can be accessed in 3 to 10 days, such as high-yield savings accounts, money market accounts, no penalty CDs, and or cash value life insurance. All of those will be acceptable savings. Insurance. Lack of insurance in a tragic situation can set back a lifetime of prosperity. There's almost nothing more detrimental than to encounter a dire emergency and have it suck up all your funds, whether it's an illness, a critical illness, or a lawsuit. There can be all kinds of things that can devastate you financially that we need to prepare for. So we want to ensure that you have the bare minimum coverage, and we want to strive for the maximum coverage. Now, there are limits to what you can insure. So don't just ask for the cost of minimum coverage. Find out the cost for maximum coverage as well, because it might actually be a better value. So when we talk about insurance, we're talking about homeowner insurance or renter insurance. And this coverage is critical. Fire, theft, or injury can quickly devastate your financial future. And you also should look at adding an umbrella policy to that as well. They're usually very inexpensive. Auto insurance is mandatory in most places, but check to be sure that your coverage is adequate for your needs, because we often overlook as uninsured motorist levels and overall liability levels. So it's best to get as much coverage as you can for those health insurance. Health issues, medical bills are like the leading cause of bankruptcy. So be sure you're prepared for unexpected injury and illness. That's where health insurance comes in handy. And life insurance, whether it's insurance on your spouse, insurance on your business partner, your employee, or your loved one, life insurance provides living benefits and death benefits. And as you know, if you're following my channel, a properly designed policy can be used throughout your life to accelerate the growth of your wealth, as well as pension maximization, personal banking. You can use it as a flexible saving asset. You can use it as a supplemental retirement income. You can use it for estate planning, and you can use it for tax advantages. So a lot of different ways to utilize life insurance, but also provide that death benefit and living benefit protection and pension. Pension. Now this says pension, but it also means annuities. Pensions and annuities are guaranteed lifetime income streams that provide income for the rest of your life and sometimes for the life of your spouse as well. So employers provide pensions, and they're slowly disappearing with only about 7% employers offering them now. But income annuities and other annuities are products offered by insurance companies. They provide lifetime income as well. An annuity is just something you buy. You turn a chunk of money, whether it's your retirement account or just funds that you have available, you turn that money into a lifetime income stream. And typically, it's good to make sure that you have your minimum basic needs covered with either your pension or your annuity. And this is also where Social Security comes in. Social Security is a government pension. It's a lifetime income guaranteed by the federal government. How much ends up being guaranteed may depend on the political will and the people in office. But nevertheless, at some point, whether it's 62, early retirement, your full retirement age, or your maximum retirement age, at some point, you're going to be able to start drawing Social Security. And that definitely helped folks live out the remainder of their retirement years with what's hopefully supplementing any other type of savings that they've had so that they can live a dignified life into retirement and beyond. That consists of our base. All of this is the safe part of our base. If we get each of these covered, we're going to be in a good financial situation, regardless of the performance of these riskier investment options. So something to be aware of in regards to life insurance. It can actually serve the purpose of multiple things within the base of our pyramid. You can use the cash value in your life insurance policy to store your emergency fund. You can also use the cash value in your life insurance policy to turn it into a pension. Or you have a plan set up with withdrawals of that cash value so it can function like an annuity. There's a lot of different ways to utilize life insurance in order to tackle multiple things at once and basically do double, triple, and quadruple duty, allowing your money to do multiple things for you. Now let's go over these riskier investment options. And so here we've got our level 2. Level 2 is what I call the opportunity zone. Once we have our base covered, you should explore opportunities to invest your extra money in conservative cash flowing and or tax-advantaged assets. This level of assets should be tangible. That means there's something to them. You got real estate, you have actual property that you can hold on to, is tangible. Your 401k, your 403b, your Roth, your IRA. These are typically invested in markets where you actually have stocks, something that's tangible. That's not necessarily going to just disappear. Now, it can drop drastically, but it doesn't tend to just go to a value of complete zero. So that's why we say it's a conservative investment option, because it doesn't have the opportunity of being wiped away completely. And we put it into this tier 2 because it's also tax advantages to level 2 because relatively low risk options that perform well over the long term. View these assets as if your future retirement depends on it, because it likely does. And I should add, as if a dignified retirement depends on it, because at some point people are going to retire, whether you like it or not. Just a matter of how they're going to have their income or the financial stability to enjoy their retirement. This is where level 2 comes in our investment. Now, in level 2, it's not going to be get rich quick type investments, but they're going to provide an opportunity for you to really expand your wealth through proper investment and compounding of interest over time. So 401k, 403b, these are employer-based and controlled tax-advantaged retirement accounts. They grow tax-deferred and they're taxed as income upon withdrawals. Your IRA, that's an individual retirement arrangement, or some people say individual retirement account. It's individual based and you control it. It grows tax-deferred just like your 401k or 403b, and it's taxed as earned income upon withdrawals. The thing about this one, though, is it doesn't have greater flexibility than your 401k and 403bs. So it's a good idea to have your own IRA open up, even if you do have a 401k. You can also have Roth 401ks. These are individual. The Roth IRA specifically is individual based and controlled, but it uses after-tax funds and it grows tax-free. All that growth on it, you'll be able to access it at some point, typically after 59 and a half. But there are other expectations and there's other ways to access it sooner, but you'll be able to access it tax-free and penalty-free. The other advantages of utilizing a Roth is that your contributions are always accessible because they're after tax already. So you can get that money out if you need it in an emergency. And then we've got real estate. Real estate tends to be a stable, low risk investment. Depending on how you invest in real estate, of course, sometimes in some real estates, it's higher risk than others. But for the most part, because it's a tangible asset, you can fix it up if you want to. It's insured. Typically, it's definitely low risk compared to other types of investments out there. There are tax advantages, whether it's through depreciation or whether you're doing 1031 exchanges or deferred sales trusts in order to defer the capital gains. There's also cash flow opportunities if you opt to own rentals. But for the bottom line, there's a lot of different ways to participate when it comes to real estate as an investment. And getting a bit deeper in the weeds, there's ways to utilize real estate within your retirement options. It's not typically available to folks who just have your basic standard employer 401k, but through options like solo 401ks or self-directed IRAs. There's different ways that you can access the funds within your retirement accounts and use those to purchase real estate if that's what you so desire. So let's go to level 3. Now we're getting up to moderate to aggressive types of investments. This is what I call the fun zone. After your retirement goals are met, after we've taken care of our safe base and we've invested in tax advantage accounts, now you can branch out with your wealth building opportunities. These assets should be tangible, but you're free to go for short-term gains, explore alternative investment options, and any other opportunities that arise. We're still not at the point where we're putting our money out there where it can just disappear in an instant. And this is why we call it moderate to aggressive. So our options here, we've got stocks. This is investing outside of your retirement accounts. Obviously, they can drop drastically at any given time, but you do need to realize with stocks, your investment is at the mercy of individual companies. So you'll want to be able to ride out downturns, and you don't want to tie up funds that you will be forced to withdraw. This is why we have stocks listed up here in the third category. Because investing in individual companies just comes with a lot more risk than utilizing things like index funds or mutual funds, something that spreads the risk out over the whole stock market or over a bunch of different types of companies in a particular category. Royalties. Royalties can be a good way to generate long-term cash flow, but they may not pan out and they may not be consistent. But it can be fun to own a piece of a popular song or a movie or a play. So royalties are definitely part of the fun zone. Life settlements is when you purchase someone else's life insurance policy. Since all of us are bound to die at some point, these are guaranteed to pay out eventually. The risk in it is tying up your funds for an unknown length of time. Sometimes the return can be worth the wait, though. So these are a good opportunity, and there's more and more options out there. There are some companies out there that will pool a whole bunch of life settlements together. So you're not just relying on one policy to pay out. And then we have other tangible investments listed, meaning that you're invested in something of substance that cannot just disappear or lose all its value in an instant. So this could be something like the start of a business or art or commodities. And that brings us to extreme. At the top of the pyramid, this is our extreme risk where we tend to go for these high rewards, but we realize that there's high risk with them. Now, high risk doesn't always equal high reward. Now, here's the thing. If you've covered your bases, prepared for retirement, and successfully explored the fun zone, there's likely no reason for you to even climb up to level 4. Extreme risk doesn't equal high reward. It most often just leads to losses. So maybe consider donating to a charity instead, okay? This is the one we don't even really need to consider as long as we have everything else taken care of, okay? And that's it. That's the wealth pyramid. I hope you can put that to use in your life. If you have any questions about what we went over, if you have any questions about the levels of the wealth pyramid, leave them in the comments section below. And I'll be happy to answer your questions. And if you found value in today's video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and then you'll be able to take advantage of any new content that I release.